Welcome, everybody. I'm excited to have everybody on tonight's call. I know we've got hundreds of people on the line, and I think this is something that was well needed within our company, and I want to welcome each and every one of you that are relatively new to the business, and I also want to welcome all the partners that have been involved in Five Links for quite some time. I've got a lot of information I want to cover, and this is really going to be to guide the brand new person that just joined the Five Links family and maybe they don't know what to do just yet. You'll be able to not only get all the information from this training, but this training is going to be available to anyone that starts in your business. So you'll be able to send someone back here. And I'm going to try to cover this in a very timely fashion. And I think that it's going to be a blessing to everybody that is a part of this. So with that being said, let's dive right into this. We've got a lot of content we want to cover. I understand what it means to be new. Really quickly, I just want to give you a very quick snippet of my background. I've been in the industry now. My name is Steve Carter. I am a double platinum senior vice president with this company, Five Links, and I've been in this industry for 16 years. But for the past 5.5 years, I've been with this incredible company, and it's been such a blessing to myself and my wife, Pasha. We're very humbled that we've earned millions of dollars, not just in the industry, but specifically in Five Links. And I'm very thankful for that. And I want to be able to share the knowledge that we have with every single one of you. And I know some of you might be just getting started in this business. So this may be a brand new industry. And I think it's important that you have to set the right tone mentally up front. And the obvious first slide really says it all, and that is you need to believe in your industries and believe in the business of Five Links. And so with that, I want to talk a little bit about what we are into. First of all, what are some of the industries that we're in? The first one I want to discuss is voice over IP. Very, very big industry. And as a matter of fact, it's one of our flagship services that we market. And all that really is, voice over IP, really stands for voice over internet protocol. This is just a fancy term for digital phone service. And that's one of the services that we market, where we're able to show individuals how they can save money on their phone services instead of having to use their telephone pole in their backyard or sticking their phone cord in their wall. Now individuals are able to get their dial tone on using their internet connection, and that's becoming more and more prevalent throughout different households. And when you think about how big VoIP is as an industry, I think that you'll really start to see the potential of what can happen to you in income. Look at this chart that I found. This is something that was projecting what was going to happen from 2006 to 2010. Back then, it was about 373,000 people using VoIP, and you look at how fast it's grown in just a 4-year period to almost 10 times the amount. We're at 3 million plus users by 2010. And then I also love to show the fact that this has nothing to do with Five Links directly. However, indirectly, this is showing that we are in the right industry, because when I look at this Wall Street Journal article, it talked about the top 10 industries to be in for the next decade, and number one on the list is voice over IP. And when you look at the type of revenue that's available for this particular industry, this is in millions of dollars. So you may be looking at that figure that looks like 12,498, but you've got to multiply that times 1 million, and this is what you get. And when you look at all those zeros, just to make it simple to all of you, that's $12.5 billion in revenue. So that's a lot of money up for grabs. And you know that this can create wealth. And one of the ways to prove that is the fact that the richest person in the world today is in the VoIP industry. This is a gentleman named Carlos Slim. A lot of people think that Bill Gates is the wealthiest person in the world, but he's actually the second wealthiest. Carlos Slim is the wealthiest. And I'm proud to say that he owns a VoIP company in Mexico. So if we know the richest person in the world is in this industry of voice over IP, we are absolutely playing in the right field. But not only that, what are the other industries that we've tapped into? We're also involved in the energy industry. And when you think about that, first of all, energy is about 10 times the size of telecom. And when I read an article earlier today, look at this right here. If I can use my cursor maybe here, it talks about the fact that the energy industry is the third largest industry in the United States. So that is big for us to be playing in a separate industry all together, but that being one of the largest. And of course, the one that's nearest and dearest to all of us is the industry of multi-level marketing. This is the industry of network marketing. Some people refer to it as MLM, multi-level marketing, direct selling. The bottom line is this, folks. This is what we're in. And when you look at the revenue that's available, just in 2011, the United States has the most revenue being generated in this industry. And again, when you look at that figure at the top, some of you may not be able to see that. It looks like 28,560. But again, this is revenue in millions of dollars. So if you multiply that times $1 million, here's the figure you come up with, 28 billion and $560 million. And long story short, that's 28.5 billion. So I want everybody to realize when you just look at just those few industries that we've tapped into, the revenue that's swirling around that's available for each and every one of us to get a hold of, that is powerful. So when people start thinking, you know, you're in the wrong industry and or it's not going to work, you've got to be headstrong enough to understand that this will absolutely work. Now, where is MLM growing? I don't want people thinking, well, I wonder if I can build that in my city or in my area, my state, or my neighborhood. Listen, if you break this down, this is a percentage of sales by the census, breaking it down through regions. You look at the West Coast, 28.6%, Midwest, 20.8%, Northeast, 15.8%, and down South, 34.8%. So network marketing is growing everywhere. So there are no excuses as to where you live. If there's not a leader in that particular market, you need to be the one to become that leader. So let's talk about our company in particular, 5Links. I'm excited to be a part of the company. We just hit number 77 on the direct selling news for the global top 100 companies in the world. That is huge of network marketing, direct selling. And not only that, we've been featured in other things like the Direct Selling News, did a big article on us. And look at the date on this, folks. This was just a few days ago. This was July the 1st this year. So we're talking current news is being highlighting our company. Not only that, one of the ones we're most proud of, Inc. magazine, every year they come out with the fastest growing privately held companies in the nation. We hit the Inc. 500, top 500 fastest growing privately held company for 4 consecutive years. And so every single one of you needs to realize that we are in the right company. Now, also we were featured on NBC in local Rochester, on the news talking about this company. So again, let's not listen to our relatives that don't know what this is about. Let's not listen to our friends that don't know what it's about. Let's get the facts and let's start to learn how you can turn this into a revenue stream for you. So let's ask this question. Are people succeeding in this business? Absolutely. When you look at the Platinum Senior Vice Presidents right now, at this current time of this recording, we've got about 16 people that have hit the position of Platinum SVP. I believe there's about 6 of us that have hit double Platinum Senior Vice President. We're very humbled to say we've made millions of dollars. But the thing that I'm most proud of is the fact that we're able to turn around and teach other people how to do the same thing. So I want to welcome all of you to the family. However, when you get out here and start building, there are going to be some things that are thrown at you that you need to understand how to respond to. One of the main questions that you're going to be asked is this a pyramid? And you got to understand that when people pose that question, what they're really asking is this legitimate? Is it a scam? Is it real? Because an illegal pyramid is where money exchanges hands, but there are no goods and services being rendered. That's illegal. The government can't track that, and the company will be shut down in a minute if they're not selling anything. If they're just collecting money and you've got to turn around and get somebody else to put their money in order for you to make your money, that's not legal. In our business, in our industry, nothing moves unless customers are acquired. And so I also like to point out that every single one of us, pretty much every organizational structure that we're a part of, is a pyramid. It's just that unfortunately, a lot of us are not on the top of that pyramid. Because when you think about even general structures like our family, I mean, just draw that out. When you think about your forefathers and grandparents, great grandparents, and so forth, and then you've got yourself and your siblings, along with you start having children, and your siblings have children, which turn into your nieces and nephews, and then they have children, which turns into grandchildren and generations to come. So that continues to grow exponentially like a pyramid, not to mention the church. I mean, this is what a lot of people look to the church for answers of spiritual guidance and everything. But the bottom line is that's still structured the same way. Usually there's a pastor, then you've got a couple assistant pastors, then you've got the deacon board, people that work for the church, then the ushers and workers and volunteers, then all the parishioners, people that are part of the congregation. Again, pointing that out, it's shaped like what? It's a pyramid. Not to mention corporate America, one of the pyramids that most people are familiar with. And unfortunately, most people are on the bottom of this because the CEO runs it. He or she may have a president and some vice presidents, upper management that get paid a little bit more, then middle management. And most people fall on the bottom, which is the W-2 wage earners that are in this pyramid. And if your name is not the same name as the person at the top of that company, then more than likely the likelihood of moving up is slim to none. But when you are in MLM, you are the CEO of your business. Everything you build is what you sit on top of. So you have the same opportunity that any boss, any CEO has. And when you think about the structure being limitless, it can grow through infinity. It's just a matter of how big you want to grow it. Look, currently at the time of this recording, we're very humbled and very blessed to say that we've got about 50,000 people in our network right now. And I know that as time goes by and we're listening to this recording a year from now, 2 years from now, that number is not going to sound as large as it may sound to myself or many of you today. But it's put us in a position where we'll never punch a clock again. And it's because we've got those people that are a part of the team. And a percentage of those people are leaders that are building their organization. They're getting customers. They're getting business partners. And a percentage of that rolls up through the upline. And that's exactly what I want to teach every single one of you that are brand new to this industry and brand new to this company, how to build. So you first need to know, why are people gravitating to MLM versus going to start their traditional business? Well, somebody that might be new in this industry, let me just show you some of the really strong reasons why this just makes so much more sense than even starting a traditional business, which is a lot of times not a bad idea. But when you think about what goes into it, it is no comparison to what we have. And here's what I mean by that, team. Look, you look at the fact that in a traditional business, just look at both columns that I'm putting up here on the board. Look at the traditional business. Generally, in order to even start that, if you're the creator, the brainchild of whatever business you want to start, then you better believe you're going to have to come up with a business plan, and somebody from a professional background is going to need to help you with that business plan, and that's not going to be free. They have to pay some money for that. Then you're going to have to come up with a proposal to even be able to present to the bank so that it makes sense enough to the bank for them to consider loaning you money. And of course, when a bank loans you money, there's one term that's added onto that money immediately, and it's called interest. And that borrowed money, you end up paying a whole lot more than you borrowed back to the bank. And that's just the way the bank does business. Not to mention, if you want to do it right, you're going to need legal fees, accounting fees, attorney fees. If you're starting a traditional business that needs some sort of housing, rent, lease, or building office space, you're going to put first month's rent down, a security deposit, and last month's rent. This is before you've opened the door and before one customer has walked through the threshold of your business. Not to mention, you got to get the word out there, so you're going to need to advertise. That costs money. Then even when you start this business and you open the doors and have your grand opening, I guarantee you're going to have fixed long hours. You're going to be the first one to get there and more than likely the last one to leave. And not only that, but if it's like most businesses, it's going to be a single location that you are confined to, which means you're not going to be able to be flexible enough to move around. And, you're at the mercy of traffic and weather and other things that really you have no direct, no direct way to to dictate what happens with that. And not only that, but with a traditional business, you've got employees to pay. And you're the last one to get paid. You got to pay your workers first. And then when you're making money in a traditional business, a lot of times it's limited to the man or woman power that you have. And even when people are successful in a traditional business, if they do become successful, a lot of times they may make the money, but they don't have the time. And a lot of that hard work is coming from you. Now, if you just take a glance to the right and compare line by line what we have versus a traditional business, then you will see why so many people are gravitating to MLM, multi-level marketing. Because instead of having to get a business plan and a proposal, what you need to learn is the compensation plan. How does your company pay? How does 5 Links pay? Bottom line is that's already in place. That's not something you have to come up with or pay somebody for or try to help somebody figure it out. You've got to just figure it out. And once you learn how to get paid in this comp plan, it's a simple game. Not only that, but you don't have to go borrowing money. Even though a lot of times people may not have the one-time startup of $249, we know that's not the same as starting a traditional business where you may need tens of thousands of dollars. Not only that, you don't need an attorney. You don't need office space or rent. You can work from home. So whatever mortgage and or rent you're currently paying, nothing increases there. You don't have to go out and do big advertisement. You can use the magazines, brochures. We're talking a couple dollars for multiple brochures that are professionally put together that you can show people so that you're not the one having to explain to people what you're doing. Let them read it on their own. Give them a magazine. Give them the things that you know are going to tell the story better than you could tell it. Not only that, it's not fixed long hours. It's flexible hours that are custom to your schedule. So if you know you work in the evening, well then work your 5 Links business during the day. Vice versa, if you work during the day, soon as you get off, start working your 5 Links business early evening to the evening. So you work it around whatever your current schedule is. So that's flexible. You're not limited to one location. I mentioned the fact we've got about 50,000 people in our team. They're all over the United States. We've even got people over in Canada. And so it grows globally. And as this company continues to expand, so will your business, as long as you have leaders that are building their businesses independently of you, even though they'll get the training, they'll get the upline support from the leaders that know the business. Not only that, you don't have to pay the employees. The company pays the employees. And I love that. Instead of having to have payroll for thousands of people, you just worry about making sure that your check is right. And in the 5.5 years I've been with this company, not one time has there been an issue with being paid on time or being paid the right amount. Not one time. And so that is powerful. Not only that, but there's no limits to the amount of income. I remember very clearly when I first got in this industry, hoping that I could make a couple $100, $500 a month or $1,000 a month. And it wasn't until I started hitting those goals that I started stretching my thoughts, raising the bar, so to speak, and saying to myself, well, wait a minute, if I've made $1,000 this month, and why don't I see if I can make a couple thousand next month, and then maybe 3,000 the following month, and 5,000 and 10,000. It just kept growing, and I know that we've had many months of 50,000+. I don't remember a month since I've been with 5 Links that I've earned less than that, and I'm saying that again very humbly. But that just lets all of you know what's out there, what's possible for each and every one of you. And not only that, but we've got the money and the time. I walked away from a job, a traditional job, in 1998. So it has been 14 years since I've had to work for somebody because of this industry. So don't you let anybody talk you away, talk you out of you getting serious about this and making this work. And the most important aspect of you being able to walk away and leverage yourself is the fact that you become fully leveraged. And here's what I mean. What's the definition of leverage in MLM? It's a situation where everyone has the same amount to gain. And when you think about that, there's one word that comes to mind when I think about that. And that one word is fair. And so, because they're going to be people that get started after you, but based on what they build, I love the fact that they can end up out earning anyone that was in before them. I can't wait until somebody comes in my group and they're not even in right now, but they get in and they end up passing me up in income. That is a beautiful thing because we all make money, but at the same time, if they end up building a solid organization where they're able to hit top positions, they can absolutely out earn their upline. Even though if the upline is in position, can still make money on what's taking place also. Now, let's get into the meat and potatoes. What's your next step, team? Let me tell you exactly what the next step is. You need to get familiar with your 5 Links virtual office. If you're brand new in this thing, what you're going to do, I want you to go to www.5links.com. And then when you go there, this is what you're going to put your login, your RIN number, and your password. But this is what the screen is going to look like. When you go to 5links.com, right there, it's asking for your RIN, that RIN. That stands for Representative Identification Number. That was your L number. It starts with the letter L followed by 6 digits. You put that in, and then if you have not changed your password, which you can do, then by default, the last 4 digits of your Social Security is your password when you first get into the system. Once you get in, you can log in, you go to the back, you can change that to whatever password you want it to be. But when you log in, here's what's going to happen. You pop up and you'll get what's called your dashboard, your virtual office dashboard. And this will show you what has been taking place in your business, as well as you've got access to all the stuff in the back office, all the documents, all the training. I love the fact that you can always look at what's current in the company, what's current in your business. As you can see, even on this particular screen up in the right-hand corner, it shows that we've brought almost 2,000 business partners in within the last 30 days. So this is current, and it keeps track of that. But I believe that tools like what I'm doing right now is going to help thousands of people that are getting started know what to do, because how often can one person or a group of leaders be available to work with any particular person? That's if it's thousands or hundreds or however many are coming in. If it's a group of people, then one person can only do so much. So therefore, you're able to teach people what I'm teaching all of you right now, and this is going to be available via recording. So now, once you're in the back office, first thing you want to do, you want to click on 5 Links University. Let me tell you why, team. If you're brand new, you will not get promoted to any position until you complete your training module. So you'll click on this little tab that says training right over here to the right. And then once you click training, this is what's going to pop up. It's going to pop up where you can put your RIN number in again, which is your representative identification number. Then you'll put your password. If you changed it, put the new one in. If it's not, if you haven't changed it, it's the last 4 digits of your social. But once you put the password in, you're going to get into 5 Links University. Now, before I show you what this looks like, let me explain to you. You can end up building the structure to hit a position in our company like executive trainer, and I'll teach you what that means as we go along. But if you become an executive trainer on paper, like in the system, and you have not completed your 5 Links University executive training module training, your preparation, you won't get promoted. Now let me tell you why the company has put this in place. They want to know that you not only know how you got to where you're going or how you know what to do, but you can turn around and teach somebody else what to do. So you literally, look what's going to happen. When you log in right here, you're going to end up patching in where you can now select your trainings. So right there at the top where it says ET preparation training, you can't hit executive trainer until you complete that. So when you click on that, what's going to happen is it's going to open up an audio and visual training just like this, where it's going to start to play an audio and the slides will move automatically. But at that point, team, you better be taking notes, because it's not a long training, but at the same time you need to learn it, so that, because at the end of the training it's going to have little spots in between the beginning and the end, but it'll stop. And when it stops the first time, It's going to ask you a question. And that question is going to look something like this. And then it's going to ask you to answer it. A is true, B is false. Now, if you answer it correctly, guess what? It's going to move on. It's going to tell you what your score is. You got 10 points out of your score, and it says at the bottom right there, it says that you've passed. But now, let's just say that you end up doing the wrong answer. Here's what it's going to look like. It's going to say, wait a minute, you failed, and look what it says right here. You must review this section and pass the quiz successfully before continuing. So this will automatically take you back to the part that will go over the content that you might have gotten incorrectly when the questions ended up popping up. So you've got to get everything correct. That's why I'm telling you to pay attention to this stuff, learn this stuff, because you can end up going through these training modules and never having to start over if you pay attention. So you can't be cooking or talking to the kids, doing homework in the background. You can't do that and pass these training modules. You've got to give it your undivided attention so that you can be in a position to go all the way in this company. And here's one thing I want to point out. You can end up taking every training module all the way through Platinum Senior Vice President, even if you're not yet an executive trainer. So you don't have to wait to take the next training module until you've hit that position. You don't have to wait for that. So you can be an IMR, brand spanking new. Many of you might be in for a week or less. If you want to take the next couple days and take all your training modules on 5 Links University, you can go all the way through Platinum Senior Vice President. And then as you hit these positions in the system, you're not worrying about having to go back and take a training course. So I'm encouraging all of you, knock this stuff out right now so that you can move through the compensation plan very smoothly. Now that you kind of get familiar with your back office and all that good stuff, and you're just kind of getting your feet wet in the business, the first thing I think that's important for new people to do is set your goals. Get your goals set right off the bat. Let me help you with some of the goals that you ought to be setting. Number one, you ought to set your first goal of becoming an executive trainer within the first couple of weeks. Now, let me tell you, when you do that, you're going to earn a couple $100, $250. You're going to earn, you're definitely going to be able to get all your customers and things knocked out. And when you look at this diagram, it shows you the structure. It just says that, look, you need to get your first 10 customer points. Look where it says how. It says get your first 10 customer points. And then what else do you have to do? You have to get 2 business partners and help each of them get their first 4 customer points. So here's my philosophy. If you know that's what it takes to get executive trainer done, then I use the same slogan as Nike. Just do it. If you understand that the computer will not have any bias, no favoritism, it will say you are promoted. If you do it, then you know, don't stop until you find your 2 people and you got your 10 customers. Take one breath, and then you want to go right to the next goal. And of course, the next goal within your first 30 days, let's knock out executive director. Now, here's the thing. In order to become an executive director, I'm not going to confuse the new people, but just know that all you've got to do is teach those 2 of your business partners in separate legs how to become executive trainer. Now, if you've already done that, how many of you agree you can turn around and show a couple people how to do something you've done? If you can do a thing, you can teach it. So help those people get their business partners and their 10 customer points. You increase yours, get you at least 10 more customer points because you want to be able to earn these other bonuses that I'm going to talk about. But you get all of this done within your first 30 to 60 days. It'll even get you up. You can even earn this even up to 60 days. But when you've earned the position of executive director in under 60 days, I say your goal should be 30, then you've earned at least $1,500. The breakdown for that is right there at the bottom. $500 was paid out just for you getting your 20 customer points. How many of you realize that $500 will be paid out even if you haven't recruited anybody? You go get your 20 customer points, and I think you can do it in 24 to 48 hours, to be honest. But you get your 20 customer points, guess what? That $500 will be paid out within 15 days. Not only that, then when you become an executive trainer by recruiting your other 2 people, do that in under 30 days, you get another $250, and then ED, executive director, under 60 days pays that other $750. So add all those numbers up at the bottom. That's how we come up with that $1,500. That ought to be every single person's goal. that's on this webinar tonight. If you're brand new in this business, you're excited about the opportunity, you need to earn $1,500 within your first 30 to 60 days. I say get it done in 30. If it takes 60, so what? You still got it done. The bottom line is let's get it done. Now, how are you going to do that? Let's walk you through this, team. Very simple. There are two main things that we do in our business: customer acquisition and recruiting. Now, I want to break these down for you so that you know what to do. When it comes to customer acquisition, it's very simple. Remember, the first thing you want to do is you need to set your goal of knocking down your 20 customer points immediately. Get this done within 30 days. Get that $500 under your belt, and do you realize you've doubled the amount of money that you put in if you just get that done? Over there to the left, it breaks down exactly what you earn. You get your first 10 customers. I love when people even get their first $100 check because they all say the same two things. Two words: it works. And that's exciting when a new person sees that this company works. Then you want to get your other 10 customers, total of 20 altogether. They'll pay the additional $400, which is a total of 5. If you do this in 60 days instead of 30, you'll still earn $250. They'll pay you half of that bonus, even if it took you double the time to get it done. That's exciting. So there are no excuses, people. We can definitely help each of you get this done. Now, how are you going to get these customers? You got to first understand what customers are available. All these services that you see up on the screen, each of them have a customer point value of at least 1 customer point. At least. So that means you can find out some of them have a value of more than 1 customer. Now, how do you know that? Let me tell you exact. Find out the exact point values. Again, I mentioned earlier to all of you, everything is accessible to you even if you can't reach your upline. Don't use that as an excuse on why you can't get the information. If you need to figure out how to knock your 20 customer points out and you need to know what point values are for each service, well, then you go back into your back office right there, put your RIN number in, put your password in, and then you go in, and then what you're going to do is you're going to click on right there where it says training, right here at the top. It's going to say training. You click on training, it'll pull up all these different documents that you can pull up, and the document you want to look for is document 715. When you pull document 715, this gives you a listing of every 5-link service that we market, and it shows you the point value, and it even shows you the commissionable residual value. So all of that is available. Again, that is up to you to get back in your back office and get this stuff. And now that you know exactly what document number it is and where to go, we have no excuses. You guys should be knocking down your 20 customer points immediately. Here's what the goal is. Get on every single service that you can sign up for in your house. I think everyone should have their 25 customer points within their first 30 days. It does not take that long to do it, team. I know that if you've been in the business for longer than 30 days and you don't have 25 points, it's just a matter of that you've not made a mental decision that you want to get that done. Because it's not as though you've attempted sincerely and you just failed. And even if it took you 45 days, so what? Knock it out in your first month and a half. Let me show you how to get this done. This is a simple customer acquisition fundamental overview really quickly. Learn the stages of getting your customers. This is what I think everyone should go after. Stage 1, you need to knock out your 4 qualifying customer points upon sign up. When you get in, you need to have your platinum services, and you need to get the global link service, whether it's the video phone or whether it's the video service, the GSP10, or whether it's the digital terminal adapter. Either way, knock that out immediately upon sign up when you app up. And that's why we always respectfully tell people, listen, if you're getting started in this business, we want you to get started properly. Although it's $249 to start, it's going to be at least another 100, maybe even 125 if you want to get the home phone as opposed to the video software, the download. So either way, you're going to look at between $350 to $375. That will really effectively get you up and running in the business. Don't allow your upline to tell you that it's okay to get it later. Look, not as a leader. You need to make sure that you get qualified immediately, because that's also when you're in a position to start making money. Until you get your 4 qualifying customer points, if you recruit your first IMR in the business and you think you've become a trainer, which is the first corporate earned position, you won't get paid. You won't earn that $50 for getting that first person within 30 days if you don't have your 4 customer points. So that needs to happen upon sign up. The second thing you want to do, stage 2, is get your 10 points and get that done within 24 to 48 hours. Knock that down, whether they're all in your house and it's all you, or whether it's you and some of your closest family members, where collectively it adds up to at least 10 points. Now, within the first 7 to 14 days, that's when you go ahead and knock out your first 25 customers. I say if it's a 30-day period, if you take a day longer than 30, I will honestly and respectfully say you're playing around with this. It just doesn't take that long to do it. So, where are you going to get these customers from? Let's talk about it. Let's learn the source. Where do you look? Well, obviously the best and most loyal and strongest customer is yourself. So you want to knock out every customer you can. Sign up on everything. Stop saying things like, well, I'm in my contract for my cell phone. Who cares? This is your business. If you're thinking that short-sighted, where you're worried about what contract you have or what is DirecTV going to do if I break my contract, forget all of that. I broke contracts. I signed up for everything because you know what? This is my business. I'm not going to continue to pay revenue to a company that I'm not making a dime on, and all I'm doing is spending money. And now I'm a business owner, and I don't care about the contract. If I had to pay a little penalty up front, look, it's going to be a cost to become a business owner anyway. I factored all of that in my cost of becoming an entrepreneur. So you need to sign up on everything. When I see people on the books and they've gotten started for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and they don't have 20 customers, I know that they're just not, at that point in their career, they're not serious about going platinum and double platinum and diamond. That's just not where their head is. Otherwise, they would knock that out. It doesn't take a lot to do it. Now, second source of customers is going to be family and friends. The people you know. We're not expecting people to knock on doors and walk through the mall. None of that. You're going to go to your family and friends. And the third source, a lot of your customers are going to come from potential recruits that aren't interested in getting in. So let's talk about that. Source number 2, what did we say it was? Family and friends. So there's a couple of approaches you can use to talk to your family and friends, and I'm going to give you just an example. First thing is, give your reason why. Why did you get in this business? And it needs to be compelling enough to where that person feels you and they understand that, you know what, I'm going to just do this to help my family member out or help my friend out. Let them know whatever it is. I remember hearing a story a long time ago, a buddy of mine whose parents were in a nursing home, and he used that in his customer acquisition script. Every time he went to a family member, he would say, look, you know, mom and dad are not feeling well. They're in a nursing home. I want to continue to give them the best medical care that I can give them. And in order for me to do that, my job just wasn't going to pay me enough to be able to make sure that was the case. Therefore, I started my own business. So I've got a telecommunications business that I'm running in addition to my job. And I'm using all the revenue that I can earn from this side business. I'm using all of that to make sure mom and dad continue to get the highest medical care they can get. So I'm coming to family members and friends, people I know I can count on. Would you at least be willing to support my business, and knowing it's going to help mom and dad, just become my customer by trying one of my services? Man, I'm telling you, that was one of the best customer acquisition trainings I've ever sat in. And that was over a decade ago, and I still train it today. Because when people know your real deep-seated reason why you're doing what you're doing, people are naturally going to want to help. Now, you might also use the second approach. Here's just an example, is your potential promotion approach. That's a little bit more exciting, where you come to them, look, I'm just a couple customers away from getting promoted in my new company. I don't know if you know, I started my own business, and I've gotten all my family members to support me, and I just need a couple more people to do that. And I know you're going to definitely support me. So if you'd be willing to just help me out, try my service, I'd greatly appreciate that. And then you just lean on that relationship with them and let them know they're going to help you to get over the top and become promoted to that next position. But either approach you use, folks, right here at the bottom, I want you to understand, either way, end it with something like this. Look, would you at least be willing to support me and give my service a try? Now, notice it doesn't say switch. It doesn't say change. It says try, because you don't want to trigger those fears and have people thinking this is some permanent contract. You just say, look, just try my service. If they don't like it, they can go back where they were. You know, you don't want them to just be scared like they're signing their life away. So now, from there, you're going to also continue to get customers by building your business. Every time you go out here and you're talking to people, every time somebody is not ready to get started at that time, they need to think about it, they want to pray on it, they want to talk to their spouse, they want to go back and talk to their family, they want to sleep on it, whatever it is. If they're doing that, they're not ready, then you let them know, listen, well, in the meantime, would you at least be willing to try my service? And notice what I said right here in the middle paragraph. Well, listen, if right now the business isn't for you, I'm sure you would agree that every day is a good day to save some money. So would you be willing to support me and just try a few of my services? Now notice I said try a few of my services, because even if they walk away with one of them, is one better than zero? Absolutely. So you want to definitely approach them to do that. Now here's what everybody has to be aware of, is everywhere you go, people are going to fall into one of these categories. Red apples, green apples, rotten apples. You cannot get around it, team. So now, what are red apples? These are just people that are very approachable, and these are people that are usually easygoing and supportive. They will try your service. They're like, okay, if this is for you, if it'll help you, and I can save some money at the same time, fantastic. Let me do it. You know, and so you want to make sure that when you approach these people, you're letting them know, hey, I started my own business, whether you're using the why you got started or whether you're using the I'm getting ready to get promoted. Let people know I'm in the telecommunications business. I really could use your support. I can give you competitive pricing, and in many cases even a savings on services that you're already using. Would you be willing to look at what I've got and pick something or a couple things that you'd be willing to try and send them to your website? Now look, red apples are going to be willing to do that. Now, you've got to be a leader, though, even if you're brand new, and stay on top of that person. Now, sometimes you're going to run into what's called a green apple. These are people that have questions. Now, they may take you through the ringer. They don't mean it negatively, but they're going to have some questions. A lot of those questions you can end up getting answered for them by just sending them to the website where they can look at the rates, they can look at what you have to offer. All that's back on your personal distributor website anyway. So you'll be able to get those questions answered. I say answer a couple questions, but then always go back to leaning on the relationship of asking them, will they be willing to support you? Then from there is the rotten apples. Now, here's what you need to understand. When you're going out here and looking for people, if you know that there are only 3 categories that they're going to fall in, I want to tell you right now, you better put them each in a bucket. And the bucket concept is this: spend 80% of your time with these folks right here that are red apples. Spend about 20% of your time with these folks right here that are green apples. But you spend absolutely no time with anybody that's being negative and not supportive and not believing in you or your business. So I want all of you to never get caught up doing the opposite. You know what I see people doing? They spend 80% of the time with the rotten apples, and they're spending that time trying to convince them why they need them to help. Look, you just be very straightforward. If somebody's not willing to help you, you tell them you love them anyway if you do, and you just move on. You don't waste time with that. You spend 20% with the green apples, and these are people that just have genuine questions, but they are more than willing to probably support you. But you spend 80% of the time with the people that will help you. Now, from there, how do you sign the customer up? Even when it comes to getting yourself on these services, let me show you how to do that. You need to go to your personal website, and every single person that's signed up into 5links, your default website is www.5links.net/your RIN number, which is something like this. Here's an example: www.5links.net/L123456. Now, if that was your number, that'll take you to your website. And when it takes you to your website, you can always customize it. Just know that you can change it to a custom address, like something like 5links.net/John Doe. But when you go to that website, here's what it's going to look like. You may have a website that looks like this. You've got different templates you can choose, but it's your site and it's coded to your ID. So now when it comes to getting customers, you're going to go up here and click on where it says products. And when you click on products, look what happens. It's going to pull up the products that we have. So now I say personally, like for example, the digital home phone service. You click right here where it says sign up. As soon as you click that, it's going to pull up where you can go in and sign up for the VoIP service. Now, I just personally believe that this should be one of the first services you sign up for. Now, if you'd like to get a home phone, a landline type of thing in your home, by all means, get the one that says Global Links Premium with Linksys SPA 2102. That's going to cost you about $71.85 up front. But here's the thing I always tell people, and they say, well, I've got my landline. Look, you can get your number ported over. However, every single one of you have become new business owners. And you know what I personally believe? Nothing wrong with you having a business line. That could be the number that only your business partners can reach you at your home on. But you need to have the service just to know what you're marketing. So I just believe it's important for you to get on the service immediately. Now, if you're one of those that have just gone so far mentally beyond wanting a home phone because you say, I only use my cell, well, then I would suggest then using the Global Link service called the GSP-10, which is the Global Link soft phone. This allows you to download the video service onto your computer. So now you can make calls to your senior partners and be able to see that person if they have the GSP-10 as well, and you can introduce your potential partners to your senior partners via the computer. But either way, you need to have that service day one, either that or the DTA, the Linksys box, day one. And when you do that along with platinum services, that's why we say you're only going to pay about $100 up front for your services, or 125 at the most if you get the Linksys as opposed to the GSP-10. But the bottom line is that plus the $249, you're looking at between $350 to $375. Now, how many businesses can you get into for under $400 and you are up and running using the services? You've got your ID number, you're kind of getting familiar, getting your feet wet, everything's in place. This is critical in your business, folks. So you've got to be the one to lead by example. Now, of course, all the other services are there as well. If you want to go to cellular, you want to do satellite or anything, you just go right back to that same link where you clicked on products in your website and you can sign up on anything. Now, from there, we're talking about recruiting, prospecting. How do you get out here and build the team, folks? Let's run through this quickly as well. Now, I always teach something called the baseball diamond. And the baseball diamond just simply means we're going to teach people how you can get people interested in your business. Now, the purpose of the baseball diamond is for you to get people to score in your business. Now, what do you mean by score? Let me tell you, every time you score, that means somebody is saying to you, I'm ready to get started. Let's roll. How do I get in? That's scoring in this business. So you got to get around the bases in order to score. You can't score if you don't get up to bat and you don't swing or you don't go around these bases. So how do you get to first base? Notice that for first base, it tells you right here, the first thing you need to master is piquing interest. So now how do you pique interest? There's just a couple bullet points that you can use. This is just an example. And this is what I've been teaching for over a decade. Look, 3 little points you want to make sure you always implement when you're talking about what we do. Number 1 is, hey, John, I found a way to make some money. I need to get you the information. When can I get your undivided attention for 30 seconds? Now, let me tell you the psychology team in saying 30 seconds is that I don't care what they're doing. They'll give you 30 seconds. So you just say, look, I found a way to make some money. I need to talk to you. When can I get 30 seconds so I can let you know what's going on? That's it. I don't care how you say each of those bullet points, but you have to include that there's a way to make money, have to include that you have the information to give them, and you have to include it's not going to take long at all. 30 seconds and I can get you the information. Guess what they're probably going to say? What is it? Or, hey, I got 30 seconds right now. So you immediately want to get them on first base. Now, if you can look right here on the screen, first base says pre-recorded. Now, there are some pre-recorded numbers. I'm just going to use a couple of them up here because these are the ones I'm familiar with. Any other leader in this company, if they are an SVP or if they're a platinum and let alone a double platinum, if they have a pre-recorded message, by all means, I am encouraging you to check those out because you could put that into your arsenal and utilize that. I tell people even within my team, you do not have to use the one that says Steve Carter. I'm not biased to that because it's me. I just have one, but also co-founder Jason Guck has one. Also, Platinum Senior Vice President Dwayne Johnson has one. I believe Senior Vice President Mr. Phil Gerdes has one. The point is, I don't care which number people use. Just listen to the one you like, and I also think it's more intelligent to use the one you think your potential partner that you're talking to at that time would like. You know, whichever one you think they could relate to. But you give them the pre-recorded number, because when you put, and if they speak Spanish, we've got the pre-recorded Spanish numbers there as well. But the bottom line is, if you pique somebody's interest and you say, I need 30 seconds, it doesn't take 30 seconds to write that number down. So you did not take any more time than you told them you needed. They say, what is it? Look, write this number down. You give them any one of those. Now, when they listen to it, they're considered to be on first base. Now, once they're on first base and they listen to it, guess what? You need to be the one to follow up and find out if they like what they heard. And if they did, it's your job to move them to action, which is to get them to second base. Now, second base is getting them in front of some form of presentation. I don't care what form that is. For example, these are just some choices right here on second base at the top. The first choice, and this is in no particular order, but you might want to send them to a website. Here's an example of a website, stevecarteronline.com. Again, I don't just send people there. I also send people to this one, 123setsyoufree.com. That's Mr. Dwayne Johnson created this website. I also love C. Anthony Harris. He created one called aplanb4me.com. So I send people to all of these websites. My thing is, notice when you look at each one of these sites, notice what's on here. This right here is a presentation. It's a video recorded webinar. Same thing on Dwayne's site. This big square in the middle, this is a presentation that will automatically run. Same thing on C. Anthony's site. This little section down here in the left corner, that's the presentation. So again, you don't have to take time to actually go through this with anybody. Let them go see what 5 Links is about, and they're hearing from a platinum senior vice president or a double platinum senior vice president. So once they hear the information, you know they're on second base. Now, guess what? Some people may say, oh, well, I don't have internet at home. Well, that's when you better give them a DVD. Now, I have a DVD that's available. I don't know of any others that have a presentation DVD, but if a leader that's a platinum or whatever advisory council that has one, by all means, I sign off on it. I encourage you to use it. Nobody gets to platinum SVP or advisory council by accident. They know what they're doing. So this is just an example of a tool that you can use. This one is a live presentation where I'll come out and I'm actually the one that does the 30-minute presentation. So again, if they don't have internet, so what? I bet you they have a DVD player. Tell them to push play. And when they push play, they can watch the presentation and you get your DVD back. And then you just find out if they like what they saw. Now, if you want to get your DVD, you don't have one, you can go to stevecarteronline.com. You can order one, and any other leader that has one, you can get one from them as well. Now, or you might want to check out a live webinar. I love this because here's an example. The webinar, people can be in front of their computer just like all of you are right now, and they can watch a live overview with current information. And I love that because, look, on Monday nights, I know double platinums myself. I know Tupac Derenencourt, my partner, as well as double platinum SVP, C. Anthony Harris. We all do one on Monday night. So find out the times, get with your leaders and find out when these things are, and we do them all on Monday. And then I know double platinum SVPs, Stan and Sharice Richards, they do theirs on Tuesday night. So you can have multiple days of getting people in front of live content so where they can absolutely know what's going on. And then I believe it's important to stay in the loop. We've got this thing called Text Alert and Business Elite. Look, you need to make sure that you are texting anybody's short code or keyword to your short code 55469. This one actually says Steve Carter, but it's actually just Steve. You can text Steve to 55469. That'll add you to mine. I know Tupac's got one. I'm on Tupac's list. I'm on Stan Richards' list. I'm on C. Anthony Harris's list. I'm on Tashina Pettiford's list. I sign up on anybody that's doing something in this business because I want to know what's going on in the field. Because there may be a meeting taking place somewhere where I wasn't familiar with it, or I didn't know that it was a meeting that was going to be held. So it's important that all of you sign up on these text alerts so that you are in the loop with everything that we're doing from a leadership team. Now, from there, you also might have a home meeting. Now, a home meeting is when somebody stands in front of the room in the living room and just does a presentation where you invite people to your home. We'll help you launch your business during the home meeting. But not only that, there's also a lot of times a weekly meeting in your market. Now, if it's a weekly meeting, it's a hotel meeting that looks something like this. A lot bigger. A lot of people come out. These are usually held on Tuesday nights or Thursday nights or Saturday mornings, and they follow it with training if it's on the weekend. These are great ways for people to actually see the big picture of what's going on. And all you need to do is get good at inviting people to come to these meetings and allow the leaders to be the ones to do the presentation on your behalf. And then once somebody has been out, now I just want to point out, to get from first base to second base, that should be within a 24-hour period. I don't believe that it should take any longer than 24 hours for you to pique somebody's interest, get them the pre-recorded message, and then from there get them on some form of presentation within 24 hours. So whether it's a DVD, website, webinar, home meeting, weekly meeting, doesn't make a difference. 24 hours, they need to be in front of it. Strike while the iron is what? Hot. So don't wait around and say, well, there's a meeting next week or there's a meeting this coming weekend. Nope. You need to get them in front of it immediately. Now, from there, you want to move them to third base, which is now your senior partner absolutely wants to talk to that person. Now, some leaders have second and third base interchanged. I don't mind. If you want to get your person on with your senior partner prior to them coming to a meeting and your senior partner helping to guide them to come, by all means, get them on second base, put them on the phone with your senior partner. Whatever your leader teaches, we're in support of, but we just know that when they go through a process and they're able to get this information in an automated fashion, it's so easy to get the information to these people. And once they get on the phone with us, we're going to then guide them and into the direction that they need to go. We'll say the right things, answer their questions, find out if they have any concerns, and we'll get them past all of that. But that's really what we do. And once you master this, all you want to continue to do is duplicate, 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 duplicate. And I'm telling you right now, as sure as my name is Steve Carter, if you all continue to do this, I promise you, you're going to have success in this business. You're going to see yourselves getting promoted to high levels. Your pen levels are going to change. Your income is going to increase. The size of your organization is going to grow. And I'm telling you, you can go all the way. So I hope you guys got a lot out of tonight's training. I hope it's something that you feel proud to send somebody to. You know, we're going to make sure that this thing is perfected. And I want people to be able to get access to this type of training, if not this one in particular, on a day-to-day basis. So I'll let you guys know when this is up and available. God bless each and every one of you. This is Steve Carter, Double Platinum Senior Vice President, definitely focused on Diamond. Signing off. Take care. God bless you. Have a great remainder of the evening, everybody. Take care.